It will empty into yourselves like you are a vessel, and you will contain it, and it will become what you are. It will amalgamate your soul into itself, of itself. You and this light are the same.
What happens on a soul level when a human regains this inherent freedom by seeing the divinity within them? What does that do to the soul?
That is calling your name even now. It speaks to you across the great void of distance. And it comes at the ready, at the need, as your preparation meets this time that is opening before you. And it is made to be profoundly altering to the human psyche. It comes not to rescue, no, not this. It comes to aid you where you desire your freedom.
Family, I wanted to just take a moment to pause here. Many of us are feeling the sense that the way that we've been creating, building, expressing, something about it no longer seems to be working. We've been taught to create from pressure, effort, performance. But through a very powerful transmission with a previous guest, Anne Tucker, where she channels the mother of creation, it became evident that we are at a turning point. Creation is changing direction. And for the first time ever, Anne and I are coming together for a live initiation called the Freedom Project. This is a 3-week journey designed to dissolve fear-based creation and restore freedom from an internal lived state so that creation becomes natural again. This isn't about learning new techniques. It's about removing what's been quietly blocking your authentic creative channel. If you feel that pull into more truth, freedom, and coherence in the way that you live and create, you can join Anne and I now for our 3-week initiation. We'll be starting in a few weeks. The link to sign up is in the description, or you can scan the QR code on screen right now, and I will see you inside. Anne Tucker, welcome back on Just Tap In. It's really interesting because we were just listening to a song that said that we are being initiated once again into the golden age. And I don't know why, something told me to open up with this notion that we are in initiation heading into something greater. And I did want to touch that with you first and foremost before we get into any other of the wild things that we're going to cover today.
Yeah, it is. It's a powerful idea that we are returning to a golden age. That I remember being blown away, because you always hear in history, in academia, we talk about how far we've come. We talk about the Stone Age and the Iron Age and the Bronze Age, and wow, look at us now, the Information Age, and we're moving now into the into AI, and it's like we've come so far, and we think of us as being advanced. And then I learned about the Yuga cycle, and I learned about this idea of the movement of energy in this 24,000 year cycle. And according to that cycle, we are actually at a low point of energy. We're not at the pinnacle. We're at a dip in energy. We're at the point where we're supposed to go returning back up to that golden age. And it for me it was a really, I think it was important to recast where we are today in the terms of what matters. Like, yes, I think we have the expansion that we've had and the movement that we've had deeper and deeper into the expression of our divine masculine has helped us to build the structures, to build the technology, to build the things that enables societies, that supports more people living comfortably. But at the same time, the overexpression of that has drawn us away from ourselves, right? It has moved us, and you can see the polarity, and you can see the chaos in our world as we're preparing to make this turn back to center. And I think it's interesting to think that as we're doing this, I would talk about that cycle and that circular cycle of returning back to, but the secondary learning I had to do was that it's not a circle, it's a spiral. And that as we go around, we're not losing everything we gained. We're not losing the knowledge that we've acquired, or even our understanding of self, and what we've learned from separation. We're moving into a spiral where we're going to be taking that and then moving it into, integrating that into, as we move higher and higher in the spiral, moving it into unity, keeping the lessons of separations with us as we move into understanding how to be separate, how to stay self within a unified whole. And so yeah, this idea of the golden age, I think, has taken on a lot more depth and meaning for me the more I learn about it.
Mm. And you said really leaning into what matters. What does that mean to you right now, especially at this time where we're seeing a lot in the external world? What matters at this point for you, and maybe an encouragement to others that are maybe placing some of their attention into spheres or frequencies or densities that might take us away from this unity and this golden age that we're focusing on?
It's such a powerful question, because I think it can be a really confusing time, because there's so many things happening in our world that can be personally devastating to see. And things like what you and I were even talking about earlier today, that you recently witnessed something that was really upsetting in your neighborhood. And that's happening on a global scale. We can see that any headline you read, there's going to be something in there. Take your pick. It's like a supermarket of things that will trigger you. Just take your pick. You can read through and find something out there that's going to hit home. And I think that we have been taught that the right thing to do is to stand up to the difficult things in the world, that we have to advocate, that we have to fight, that we have to seek justice. And it's not that we want to allow those things to happen, but often, and this is the part where I think is the shift in focus, is that when we are activated in that way, when we're chasing after the thing that we feel the most deeply about, when it hurts us personally, and so we feel like I'm going to fight this fight, it's almost never about the thing that's happening in the world, and it's almost always about how it reflects the wound inside of us. So we're not coming into that interaction clean. We're coming into that interaction from the perspective of, I want to wipe out this experience from Earth. I want it not to have happened. I want it not to happen on Earth, and I want it to not have happened to me or within me. And so it's in a way, when we fight our reality, we are denying a part of ourself. We're trying to repress that part of ourself. So does that mean we just allow that, we sit back and let these terrible things happen? No, absolutely not. But we have to come into them not from the perspective of denying ourselves, or denying or wanting to rub it out. We have to come into it from the perspective of love, that we have to find a way to change the energetic charge that we have, to let go of our end of the fight, and to come into that situation to help wherever help is asked, to help wherever help is somebody is seeking help. We give it, and we give it from a place of love, that we want to love that person who's being wounded back into wholeness, or love that situation back into wholeness. And I know it's hard to say, how do you love something that is so poisonous? But I don't mean love it as in you have to like it. I mean that we have to give it love in the same way that you give a troubled person love. You give them love to help them heal. So it's a really different, it's so nuanced, and yet this is such a powerful definition, a powerful understanding of what we can do right now. Like, how can we really make an impact in what's happening, and to change the craziness in the world? It isn't to fight it, because fighting it just adds energy to that system, right? It is to notice when we fight it, it's because we have it. It's because it's in us, and the only place that we really have an impact on is what's inside of us. So if we can work on healing that is going to be the biggest change. That then contributes less energy to creating it in the world.
In our last conversation, we officially met the mother of creation that you so generously channeled during that conversation. And one thing that the mother of creation brought through there that goes really in line with what you just said is, She said there's an undertone that will divide your consciousness into two planes. One will fight what occurs and the other will accept. So if we were to look at that in a little bit, with a magnifying glass, when she mentions divide your consciousness into two planes, how is that actually influencing our own personal reality and these energies of acceptance and resistance and fighting? I know that we're going to go much deeper with Mother Creation in just a few moments, but I wanted to break that down and reflect with you on what that means, what you found that refers to.
You're right. It's like a glimmer of something very interesting, which is this idea that is humanity going to divide into two camps? Is it going to be two earths? Is it going to be two realities? And my understanding is that yes and no, that it will be that as we go through this shift of consciousness for our practical lived lives, there will be a time period where we will be living side by side, having two very different experiences of reality. And this is already occurring in our lives to a degree. Like as an example, a friend of mine was coming back from a trip just recently and was traveling with a friend in another country, and they were flying home same day, but they had different flight arrangements. And my friend, who has done quite a bit of healing work, happened to be coming through in a way that their flight was totally fine. They were flying back from Europe, had no problems, totally smooth, lovely seat, lovely arrangements, everything worked out great. And their friend, who exact same situation, same day, had to fly, everything, got sick before they got on the plane, and then they got on the plane, and there was like all the flights were canceled, and then they ended up having to take an emergency landing halfway home, turned into like this 3-day odyssey nightmare. Right? So two different people, same on Earth, same basic objective was to get from A to B the exact same day, two radically different experiences. And this is where we're headed. And we are headed into a place where the more that we are able to be at peace within, the greater our experience of peace will be outside of ourselves. And it's not all or nothing. It's not a thing where either you're on the bus or you miss out. It's a thing where every little bit we add, every little moment of self that we're able to curate and love, the greater our experience of peace on earth will be. And then it will be over time. It's actually fascinating. Over time, there will be increasingly moments where we are drawn together into community with others who are also choosing that more peaceful existence. But definitely not all or nothing. And there will be this grand moment, the flash of light, which is going to come, which will give everybody a boost. So it will be a moment where a lot of people move into that different state, into that higher state. And then it will be their responsibility to share that light.
Yeah. It's really interesting you brought that up, because with the Mother of Creation, I don't think that is something that we've explored before, of the flash of light. And in a few moments, I know we're gonna go into channeling, and I will make it a point to ask as well from her perspective, and then we can reflect afterwards. But one thing I also wanted to mention is that you and I behind the scenes have been doing a lot of work together with the Mother of Creation, something that we're gonna explain a little bit toward the end here. But it's really around this concept of freedom, and how we are beginning to shed layers of ourselves, ways that we've created in the old ways, and how creation with the Mother of Creation is shifting. Yeah. And in our last conversation, Mother of Creation opened up saying, the thing I love the most is freedom. Yeah. And that really brought me into a spiral of reflection and contemplation that then led to what our conversations then have unfolded thereafter. So if you're open to it, we can bring through Mother of Creation now and ask her a few questions about how she views this unfolding of what's happening for humanity. And then we'll come back on the other side and kind of reflect for a little bit.
Perfect. Sounds great. Let's do it. Okay.
Awesome.
So let's get grounded first, and then we'll open up. Let's drop down from our tailbones, a nice thick root that goes down through the floor and into the ground. And follow it down with your mind as it grows and extends, growing deeper and deeper into the earth. following it down where it's dark and cool, extending longer and longer. And follow it all the way down to the very, very center of the earth. And when it reaches that center point, feel the root sprout and anchor itself in. And as it does, notice that the root is pulling gently and becoming taut. And feel as that tautness moves all the way up the root and all the way up your spine, anchoring you securely to the earth. And I'd like to ask the angels to please help me to be a clear channel of healing and information for us, for our highest and best good. And please help us to receive this healing and information. Thank you. Now go ahead and connect. Blessed One, I am with you once again. Hello, 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 hello. We can continue our conversation. Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to continue these unfoldings of transmissions that we're a part of right now.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm delighted with our conversing, with how we are discovering one another and many things in the process of this illuminating exploration.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anything, Isla, that you would like to open up with today regarding the state of humanity and the world itself? Anything from our last conversations that have arisen in our field of reality, and anything that you would like to mention there?
The world is shaking itself free from observations that you would rather not have. It is digesting things that once were part of your consciousness. These are moving through digestion like a belly and will soon leave humanity. Ways of thinking, things you've accepted readily without complaint. These are now being brought forward for examination. There is a great quagmire coming, a loosening of information that will be not stunted within its expression. It will be free-flowing. There will be things coming to light, and these carry vibrations within them. These vibrations are indeed about freedom. It is about the letting loose, the freeing of that which has been restricted, that which has been governable and governed. There have been layers where humanity has felt intoxicated by its own complacency. There have been ways within which humanity has let itself be led down pathways of rigidity and inflexibility. And these are opening now slowly, like a door not used to opening. And you shall find at times that you feel disquieted by the increase in the movement around yourselves. But take heart, for these changes are welcomed. And the freedom, yes, freedom, that is being instilled with every breath as these old thought patterns are digested and melt away, the freedom becomes a newfound formula for a world you will like much better, for a newfound sense of what you are and who you are and how you can create your world. And this is coming. shortly now, for you are with it. You are part of it. You are of it. You are the creators who will bring this to light.
Is there any way that you would like to bring more clarity to us around what many are calling the flash or the flash of light that might clear any misunderstandings at this time?
Yes. The illuminative, powerful force of light energy that is calling your name even now. It speaks to you across the great void of distance. And it comes at the ready, at the need, as your preparation meets this time that is opening before you. And it is made to be profoundly altering to the human psyche. It comes not to rescue, no, not this. It comes to aid you where you desire your freedom. It comes to speak into your own light the truth of remembering. It is a powerful elixir of self-belief. Yes, it is this. And it brings to you newfound vastness in your energy reservoirs. And this intoxicating substance will elevate you, however temporary, elevate you into a stance and relationship with your future possibilities, that you open yourselves to accept your freedom in completeness, where you move through the doorway, the gateway that is offered, and you step upon the new hearth of welcome to discover yourselves entering into a kinship with one another never before felt, that is generated from within that newfound sense of internal peace and reflection. And it comes from the interrelationship that you will develop amongst yourselves of loving one another and loving what is, without separation, without fear of what another will find within you. This does not come to be felt universally, all at once. It comes as it is welcomed in. Those that do not wish to move across that hearth shall be honored in their refusal. Those that stay within the realm of what was, who cling to the reservoirs of old beginnings, they shall wait their turn. They shall come as they feel called. Do you understand me?
Yes, and I love that you defined it as an elixir of self-belief. And so what beliefs would then lead a person or individual to refuse this energy, as you mentioned, the choice that we have to be in that field that would raise our energy? What belief about ourselves would then refuse that energy into integrating with ourselves?
Fear always settles you home and down, as you know. Fear of self, fear of other, fear of what becomes hesitating. Yes, resistance of any kind, resistance to your own truth, resistance to who you are. These points of resistance draw you down and away from that which guides you home. There is particularly the desire in the self that you are, humanity as a whole, to be drawn back to where you were, to recreate what has happened before. You cling to your past. You develop analogies within your present moment that you desire to affix to what you were. You call into presence old hopes, old dreams, counterparts to the reality as you know it today. And these anchor you down into old ways of being. The state of conveyance, which opens you to the greatness of the illuminative force that is coming for you, is the willingness to allow it in. This is all. The willingness to allow something that you do not understand, that you cannot control, that you will feel to be part of yourself coming forward. It is an integrating into the energy field of self, a holistic and powerful aphrodisiac, as I have been saying, which draws you into a more dynamic relationship with self. But this is not always tolerated by the human psyche, which wishes to know first, which wishes to have the abridged version presented before they experience it, who wishes to watch another before they choose, who does not deign to go where none others have been before, who wishes to experience life in the way it has always been experienced. And therefore, there is resistance. And free will, yes, always freedom, free will, is going to always reflect that choice. Do you understand me?
I do. And would this mean that the flash has occurred in previous times on Earth, or is this the first time this has occurred?
The first time, the only time, the only, ever, only time. Yes, it is this. This is the first time humanity will be revealed in this way. And it is a powerful time. And something I wish to say, which is important for those that are listening, who might be questioning, who might be wondering, what if they do not make it? What if they are left behind? What if it comes, this flash, this light? Will it stay? Will it stay forever? Will it be there when they need it, when they are ready, when the time has come for them? And what I wish to say, and this is very exciting, Emilio, for this is why are you here? Why are you here? Why are light workers here? And what role do they play? And this is it. Are you ready? Are you ready? I will speak it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It is this, and it is most delicious of a plan. It is this, that when the flash of light comes, it will empty into yourselves like you are a vessel, and you will contain it, and it will become what you are. It will amalgamate your soul into itself, of itself. You and this light are the same. You become this energized frequency of self that you are, and the light is within you, and you carry it always. And then, where is the light? After it fades from the horizon of earth, it is not gone, for it stays, and you are the light, and you carry this light everywhere you go, and you spread it, and you share it, and you gift it, and you give it to anyone who cares to receive it. Do you understand me?
I do. And you also said that this energy is not here to rescue. What would you say to someone that is maybe placing their evolution or their growth into this future event that might come, and waiting for that to happen?
That is unfortunate, an unfortunate way of being. However, all choices are valid, but be at ease with your own soul in the knowingness that now is the time that has been orchestrated for growth. Now is the time that has been created by yourselves, for your own expansion. And to wait through this period is to refuse a gift that is sacred. This is a time endowed with difficulty, but that difficulty is filled with grace. It is a template by which you expand your very beingness. And as you move through that gateway into your brighter future, the size and the scale of your soul remains the same. It does not expand beyond the meaning which you have gathered within this time frame. This is the period of expansion. When you move past this period, you are in the gateway and beyond integration. Do you understand me? And should you wish to glow brighter, to feel more aligned to the divine light inside you, to gather more of your internal resources so that your creative powers become exponentially magnified in the next stage of reality. Do be at peace with the time that is passing and find within it the greatness that is waiting to be unearthed within you, the layers of unrestricted expressiveness of all that is, all of your hurts, all of your wants, all of your needs. Each of these speak volumes of your truth. They speak about your unique experience of living. And this is the language of your starlight. And it deserves to be read, to be spoken, to be interpreted, to be known in every language. Thus I say, delay your time here. Take more for yourselves, expand yourselves until the breath can breathe no more, and then, and only then, take your leap forward. For the next stage, though most glorious and most beautiful, it can only expand and integrate and grow what already exists.
What are the first visible signs that this new consciousness that we've been speaking about has fully anchored into our personal lives and also the collective at large?
What has come before? What has come now? What is here now? Is this your questioning?
Yeah, the first visible signs that we'll start seeing in our reality that this new consciousness is upon us and has fully anchored into our reality.
It has come and went and come again and come. It goes, it comes again. It is brewing, percolating all around you. It is already birthed, already born. It is in the baby stages of its incubation. It is moving within you, among you, around you. It is in fabrication. It is like a great tapestry that you are weaving, but you cannot yet see a picture. It is a beginning, a breath, a moment, a tone that you are speaking, a momentary softening of your own voice, of your own stance, of your own way of being, and you have been there and come back again. And there are fragments of it playing out in your lives already, momentary visitations wherein you feel yourselves in greater and greater alignment with what is becoming. And it is not yet fully formed. No, it is not. It is not enough of a space or spaciousness within which you could call yourselves residents. No, not yet. No. It is not yet visible. No, not yet. It is instead, I would say, like a breath, like a breeze, like a whisper, like a feather. It is light, it is airy. It is not transportable. It is not movable. It does not yet hold itself cohesively. Do you understand me? But it exists, yes. It is tangible enough to say, there it is. And it comes into presence in a moment with you. Thus, you are, yes, most capable of having moments of experiencing this higher state of consciousness. It comes and goes. In those momentary fragments of time wherein you feel absolutely at peace with yourselves, where you feel unrestricted freedom with yourself. Yes, this is when. And you may indeed, moments of time, you may notice where you are discovering yourself reaching into degrees of sensitivity through the senses, through the sixth sense, through your experiencing of the greater beyond awareness of things. Yes, this is coming more and more into focus for some, as if you are stretching into these experiencings and letting go, stretching, reaching and letting go again and again. And this will continue as you are building slowly, and then all at once, yes, all at once the many, and the flash of light will come. It will come, and it will be unlike anything you've been perceiving already. It will not be mistaken for something other than what it is. It is distinctive, most distinctive. It will be utterly knowable as the experience that you are expecting.
You brought up how this new consciousness is inherently tied to unrestricted freedom. And I did want to dabble for a moment on what it means to have restrictions on our freedom and where humanity has allowed our freedoms to be restricted, and how can we see that playing out in the world?
Yes. For this I urgently request that you think deeply, that you listen deeply to your own hearts, to your own souls about this matter. For there is mistakenly within humanity the feeling that life is provided, that life is given, that circumstances in your life are spoken to and for you. And this must be set down, as freedom requires within you a need for acceptance. Freedom is a state of consciousness to which you are already privileged. You have always been free, utterly free of all restrictions. You have always been that creative spark of divinity, and no form is spoken for you, if not for your own granting of permission. You are the ones who decide to give away that freedom, to gift into society, into the expectations of parents, of culture, of a world, of reality, to gift away those parts of your soul, of yourself, that rob you of that creative spark. You are gifting the potential that lives inside your heart. And in doing so, you create enormous imbalance within this earth. The earth becomes wobbly. It reels under the immense power of what you have gifted. And this lubricates the mind of one who is receiving and intoxicates them down a pathway of corruption. Thus I would say to the soul, to the self that you are, to come back to center and to see yourselves, how you've been made, and to recognize the divinity inside you, and to say to the self, who gives me freedom? No one. Who takes your freedom? No one. It is your choice. In all things, in all ways, it is your choice. And you may preserve that freedom simply by acknowledging you're free, and by acceptance, the acceptance of all that is in your life, the recognition that all that your life is made of is only there because you have allowed it, that it has transpired because your field has been in agreement, and you are this powerful. And you may not like all of the things in your life, and this is all right. And you may say, I do not like what I created, and this is all right. This is okay, because now you know that you are the one who has the power to change it. You are utterly free, and this is beautiful, is it not?
Mm-hmm. What happens on a soul level when a human regains this inherent freedom by seeing the divinity within them? What does that do to the soul?
The soul is expansive regardless of the context you are in. The soul is an expansive being. And what happens when the freedom is acknowledged, when the freedom is understood, is taken home to the heart and truly let reign, then what happens is your sense of light, your connection to the divine becomes freely accessed, that you are no longer in resistance to any part of what you are. And this you have termed self-love. Self-love is the acknowledgement, the acceptance of all part of yourselves. And as this occurs, as freedom is brought and given to your own soul, then there is nothing. The gateway is open for that spark of divinity inside of you to express out into the light and to create for yourselves a new field of reality. And this is in fact where your new earth is born from. It is born from the light that you bear, from the divinity that you share, from the freedom that you give to yourselves and to others. And this is the stepping stone that will deliver the light of your divinity into a web of consciousness based in love, of which you all will be a part.
There's also something to be said about, as we acknowledge this divinity within us, it is equally important to acknowledge the darkness that has lived within us up to this point. And I'm curious to know how that may even relate to what Anne and the angels have been speaking to around the 3 days of darkness, and how it is also important to acknowledge that as part of our experience.
Yes, yes. This is a profoundly unsettling perspective that some have shared about the need for that which alters the fabric of consciousness of humanity to die, to set itself away, to find its own freedom from your perspective, to leave humanity to evolve. And it may take its time in doing so. But in the great shift, there will be a time within which there shall be a corralling of energies that no longer belong within your soulscape, that cannot breathe within your rising light, that find your new intoxicating freedom to be suffocating. And they shall swirl and create dust in the leaving, and they shall make themselves known. But do not fear it, for you are gently led by the perspective of your own grace. And this is what they are fleeing. Do you understand me?
When you say that there are aspects of the soulscape that are not coming with us into this new expression, can we go a little bit deeper as to what that means?
Yes, if you like. There are energetic constructs created within and by humanity which have been made to feel like they are living, that are made to feel alive, but that are not in actuality born from source. They are born from thought form. And they are made to exist. Yes, they exist, but they cannot accomplish anything in the way of evolution. They cannot change or grow. They subsist. And they subsist on the deathly experiences of this earthly realm. They feed upon negativity. This is one form of these energies which I am speaking. They are not to be feared. They are not evil in nature, as you would define evil. They have no intent to harm, but they do exist, and they do harm. They are often found in or defined as an attachment, and they will be drawn into the energy of one and feed upon negativity, and instill in that one more reasons for negativity. These are rather common on earth, and as I said, they are born from and within humanity. They are thought form, taken on form that is not physical. There are also within this frame of reality, there are energetic constructs which have been explored into darkness, where there has been the violence of opposition between freedom and control. And in the exploration of control, taken to its outer perimeter, evil is born. Do you understand me?
I do. And I've also wanted to read a way that you view evil, if I could find it here for a second, but it is, in a sense, related to, you've said, evil, it is the elimination of what I am. It is the elimination of that which is the glorious truth of your soul, which is that you are free. So on the other side of these energetic constructs that gave rise to this evil, what is your perspective on what is on the other side of that, of evil?
Evil, should it continue its path and trajectory away from what I am, will extinguish itself. It cannot survive without the endowment of grace, which ignites everyone. It extinguishes its own light eventually. However, it has in fact created a pathway of difficulty which has been expansive for humanity. For there are, yes, two pathways back to the light. One is the pathway through the light, and the other is the pathway through the dark, back to the light. Thus there are some who have garnered to themselves various experiencings which have darkened their hearts, which have made them feel shallow and hardened against love. And they must then battle their way through those woundings, yes, and feel themselves greatly expanded because of it. Do you understand me? And this, yes, this has been allowed to occur because, and this is not something that anyone other than humanity can take responsibility for. Humanity, yes, has created this dichotomy and divergence from itself, and it has been greatly instructive. It has helped humanity to evolve. It has moved through you. However, should it be taken to its extremism, to the point of exclusion from what I am, then it can no longer hold itself together. For I am the field of cohesion, and if it does not have cohesion, it cannot stay as a unit of anything. Do you understand me?
Yes, and I wanted to ask you, what are you most proud of humanity for?
Many things. The furthest from my heart when I began was the expectation of all that you have become. I could not have imagined it. I could not have felt it or have seen it. And yet, I am so pleased because of it. I set off on this journey with the idea and the plan to allow, to give freedom to beings such as myself, glorifications of the divinity that we contain. And I provided the context within which you could create your own journeys. And as I stand by and participate, I can see and observe the various and many colored rainbows of potential that you are continuously exploring. And I, as one, could never create the myriad of potentials which you have made. And this was a lesson to me in my beginnings, when in the initial universe of my own creation, everything was made of me. I made myself in many ways, and I'll tell you what, it was boring. It was always more of what I am. It was always me. And this is nothing. This is no learning. This is no growth. This is no expansion. And in the granting of this gift, which is to give in love, to give the gift to be free, to have all that I am, and to create from this, yes, what it has created in me has been an expansion beyond my wildest dreams. Is I have learned myself in new ways and generated more fluidity in my field than I thought was possible. Therefore, I am eternally grateful.
What kind of world are today's children actually stepping into if enough of us choose freedom now?
There are still ways in which an infant can be taken by surprise and brought along a journey with karmic constructs. Yes, this can still arrive in this time and place, but not for long, not for long, not for many more time periods. No, for it is coming a time when you shall no longer be bound in that karmic density. And new infants, when they find themselves called to earth, shall come into the comfort and the knowing that they are loved. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how freeing that would be? To come into the perspective of one who is sharing their light from the beginning without fear. Yes, this is the evolution. This is what is evolving. This is coming.
And something that Anne, yourself, Mother of Creation, and I have been working on is a really important project for me personally, because this overexpanding view of freedom that is beyond the ways I've perceived it before has radically began to change the way I view my life. And we're going to be talking in just a few moments with Anne around this initiative that we've set forward and decided to do together. But I did want to hear your thoughts on how you perceive the why behind what we're calling the Freedom Project, and what is the experience that a lot of people that decide to join us will go through in that.
This is a most delightful conceptual understanding that you are sharing through the Freedom Project. The Freedom Project is an invitation, an open doorway of perspective sharing, within which many souls shall bind for a moment together in time to share themselves openly, to discover within their own hearts where freedom lives, where they might adjust their own resolution to be more free, and how they might do this. It is an experience worth having. It is not to extinguish anything. No, it is not this. It is merely an invitation, an open doorway through which discoveries can be made about your soul. And within those discoveries, transformation is, yes, possible. And how shall you find it? Transformation comes from the resolution to open more your own soul to freedom. There are ways within which you have encapsulated yourselves that you have no awareness of. And awareness is resolute in its ability to create your reality. If you have no awareness of something, it is beyond your reach. And thus the gifting of this process that you are proposing and offering, the Freedom Project, it creates new openings through those boundary layers where awareness permeates, and those rigidities, those areas of limitation can dissolve in a moment. And then through your choices, the choices, always your own choices, you become increasingly aligned with greater and greater freedom.
I am so excited to journey on this with you, Mother of Creation, and the whole team with the Freedom Project that is behind this initiative. So I'm looking forward to it, and thank you so much, Mother of Creation, for being here with us, Isla. And when you're ready, we'll bring back Anne into the space.
Blessings, 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 blessings. Goodbye.
Goodbye. That's how I wake up in the morning, by the way. Like discombobulated. How are you feeling?
Good.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So what I miss? I have a hard time remembering stuff sometimes.
So much. I'll definitely encourage you and to listen to the playback. I'm still kind of integrating what came through there because we really started off in the bigger picture of the Flash and talking about that, and then slowly started going into territories of this new consciousness, how the flavor of it is unrestricted freedom. She even called the Flash the elixir of self-belief.
Wait, say
And
that again.
so the
That's
elixir of self-belief.
oh man, that's the
Yeah,
flash of light. I love that.
that's how
The
she
elixir
described
of
it.
interesting. So just think about that. What that means. So that it's I mean, elixir is like I love that idea that it's like that's as a really positive like it's some kind of like intoxicating, yummy, good thing, but of self belief. That so maybe that's how it affects us is it helps us overcome self-doubt so that we can actually make this shift. I haven't heard that before. That is really cool. We always talk about like it'll raise our frequency, but I've never heard how. I've never heard like what exactly is like what does it do to raise our frequency? Well, that's it. It's a self-belief. It gives us like a intoxicating like pour it in whatever of self-belief. That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, and all the ancient esoteric hermeticists, like their number one law of reality of the universe is that all is mind, all is mental. So if you really think about it, belief is a flavor of the mind. And so when you get to examine those beliefs in a different way, then if everything is mental, if this is all a projection of mind, then your reality will instantaneously shift. So this almost feels like an elixir on a collective level where we get to choose which belief systems, how we view ourselves is going to be changing, and thereby how we live through this new world is going to be changing as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's sort of what I get from that.
So awesome. I love it. It makes me
Yeah.
impatient. I know I need to not be impatient, but it does make me impatient.
I got a little impatient because I asked Isla about how she viewed the Freedom Project.
Oh,
And so we announced it there at the very end, and she gave this really beautiful, like poetic, let's say, exploration of what we're here to do together and with the community. And so I wanted to then, bring it back to you because I got a little impatient and announced it a little earlier than expected. But for you, what has this process meant that, this co-creation that we chose to be a part of together? What would you like to say about the Freedom Project?
oh my gosh. I feel like the timing is divinely guided. I feel like I feel very much like this was meant to happen, meant to be. That I feel like the partnership between the two of us is super synergistic. I feel like we both share that, like you and I are both really dedicated to community, and we find, I think, a lot of self, like in terms of like joy and what is the fun of what we are doing. I think being in community is a big part of that. And I love bringing that together for the two of us. I think that makes it's like a point of alignment. And I think that's just so great. And then I think that in terms of the work that we're doing through this process, the more that I understand, like I've been channeling with the angels, starting with the angels really back in 2020 is when they first started talking to me about all this stuff. And they talked about the flashlight and they talked about, all the big changes. And then they've been talking about it, the angels all the way through. And then finally Mother of Creation, Isla came in just this past last year. And my understanding of what it is has been, it's like laying down little bits of Velcro and then a little bit more sticks and a little bit more sticks and a little bit more sticks. And so my understanding of it has grown in depth from where I started. In the beginning, I really didn't people talked about it. It's like we're moving to 5D and we're going to, like we're leaving Earth to go to this other place. And it was really confusing. Like, what is happening? And then I came to understand, no, it's not a physical place we're going to. It's a state of being and it's coming from inside of ourselves. And it just took layers for me to get to this place of understanding. Well, one of the really amazing pieces that has come in is this now realization that freedom is the key, that it is like it's like you were saying that she said like her it's like her mantra, like she's all about that, because it unlocks what's dormant inside of us, is that we all have the spark of the divine inside of us. And so we are love. We always hear that we are love. But how do we then create a reality from love? We have to get everything out of the way inside of us that's preventing that love from getting out, which is all the ways we do not love ourselves. Like when we're repressing any parts of ourselves, that love can't get out. So when we give ourselves freedom to be, that's the key. When we give ourselves freedom, all parts of ourselves freedom to be, then we can then turn around and give others the freedom to be. And that then sets free this spark of divinity inside of us, and this is what creates the new reality. It's like we are living in the field generated by Isla. She creates the field of the universe that we're all a part of, but we are generating the field of our reality, and we will generate a new field coming out of our heart space through the process of giving ourselves and giving others freedom to be. So freedom's the key. It's like it's the thing that opens the door. Isn't that cool?
I always knew there was something to freedom because, for example, I wouldn't have started this podcast if I didn't shed a lot of layers that were constricting me to get to this point, to interview these people, and to get myself out there and show up consistently. This process of me creating this podcast has been an initiation into freedom itself. And I'm starting to realize that, I've just kind of been going with the flow and following these bursts of freedom. But I know that there's still so many ways, people and experiences that come into my life that are still showing me where I'm not free. And I know that if I want to live the ultimate life of my dreams and I want to bring all of these beautiful creations into existence, I need to operate as a free, sovereign being. Not restricted by anything, not caring about what others think, not, allowing myself to fall into this smaller version of what I truly am. And so what we're creating together, in my view, is that it's this very beautiful synergistic of perspectives, and then bring in the mother of creation to really be the skeleton, like the spine of the teachings. And as you said, understanding this to a depth that because we know freedom is a key to the new reality, to the new state of being, understanding it to a depth that we can contemplate it in a very deep, both practical and esoteric level. So I feel like that is really what's coming through. And for a series of 3 weeks, we're going to be journeying together starting on March 1st, ending right before the solstice. So it's going to be a perfect gateway into a new chapter for humanity, a new chapter for this year, and almost like a reset period as well, because those periods, March 21st, the equinox, would it be the equinox?
Oh my gosh.
It would be the equinox is right around the corner. So it's a powerful portal that we're doing this in, and as you said, it's been divinely timed, and there's so much there to explore together.
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things that has come together from us as we sort of been planning and organizing it and thinking through what we want this experience to be is how I feel like it's coming at it from all angles. That we have, we have the recorded modules with Isla where we have the channeling where she's kind of giving us, like you said, the spine or the backbone that guides the conversation. And then you and I are breaking it apart and talking about it. But then I love, because I feel like if we're trying to activate all the chakras and get everybody to have this embodied experience together, that we're then going to put people in small groups together so that they can talk about it themselves. And it's within the community. So we're bringing in that container of community. where we can start to generate some of these sparks of the new reality together just through this experience, which I think is so cool. And people like having that ability to talk about it themselves. I think it's like, it's one thing to listen and to take it in, but then to take it, turn around and to speak it makes it so much more real in our own individual realities, So I think that is really, really powerful. And then, of course, we have the idea of the quests, which is a way to bring it in really to embody it physically as well. And it's fun. That's a really fun piece of it.
And as you just said, like at the end of the day, this isn't something that we're doing to explore these shadows and make it really heavy work.
Yeah.
Freedom is light in essence. Yeah. So freedom allows us to play as well. And as you said, we're adding the community aspect and bringing people together live. There's also a private channeling that we did with the Mother of Creation, 90 minutes long, where we talked about this new transition into freedom, what it is not, legacy, community. There was a lot in there that could almost be like its own book on its own. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. The Freedom Project is now like live and open to anyone who feels called to join. We're going to be officially closing the doors on March 8th. So depending on when you're watching this, we start on March 1st, but we're giving a little bit of that leeway time for some people to join maybe a little bit later. But those are the dates. Investment, $197. And I'm really excited because it's something that I've never done before, and collaborating with someone like you is a gift. So we'll see where we go.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way. And hey, I wanted to mention, like, I think one of the other cool things about it being a 3-week experience is that in each week there's a structure to the week. So it really does create a container, where you and I are going to be together with the whole group to kick it off on Mondays, and then with each day there's something going on. So then we have there'll be a whole schedule to it, but each week is held in a container by itself and then within the whole, and there's something going on every day, every Monday through Friday. So there's a really a lot of fun to be had. And I think growth, like you're right, it's not the kind of like deep digging in the weeds kind of growth. It's more that aha moment, that like awareness that comes in of seeing things in a brand new way that can be transformative, really, really transformative. So one of the most fun ways to grow, I think, is through awareness, because it's like once you see something, you can't unsee it, and then it changes your perspective from that point going forward.
Yeah. In the link that we're going to be including in the description, they could see the schedule. It's a really packed 3 weeks, but at the same time, like anyone can go at their own pace.
Yeah.
So it's not something that is going to be like an overwhelm at all. It's our intention is to just give that space of freedom, that lived experience. So, and we end every show, as you already know, as a 5-time repeating guest on the podcast. And this is called the Final Trio. And so the first question I had for you today to really bring a close to this conversation is, over the past year, where have you personally had to choose freedom over comfort?
Oh, that's such a good question. You are the assassin of questions. Freedom over, it has happened so many times in my life where I have been called to choose. And I'd say, like if I had to talk about the big ones in my life, it was leaving marriages, those were big ones, huge ones. I would say, let me think, in the past year, what if I had to choose freedom over comfort? It seems like it's constantly happening in my life that I'm being called to let go of things. And that would be the comfort piece of it. It's like wanting to hang on to something because it's familiar, or it's the way I've always done it, or it's what I'm familiar with, what I know. I would say a big one last year was starting to channel Isla. Like huge, absolutely huge. Because you think like now that I'm doing it and I'm so comfortable, I'm increasingly comfortable doing it. it's like, oh, that's great. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Because it was terrifying. That's why. It was absolutely terrifying because her energy is massive. So before and I didn't understand what she was or who she was. Like I had no context for understanding her. And so through my dreams, through channeling, through the angels, they kept trying to explain to me who she is until I could get comfortable enough to finally actually make the connection. But that was definitely me getting over my fear and my desire. My comfort was I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I'll keep channeling the angels. I thought that was, hey, I've done it. I've reached my pinnacle. I'm channeling the angels. Amazing. And so being willing to let go of that comfort and say, okay, maybe there's something beyond this still. Maybe I'm meant to grow. Of course, we're always meant to keep growing. But being willing to open up and even then worrying about, like I had a dream where in the dream I was walking past an old moldy queen and I was giving her a wide berth, like a respectful wide berth to the old moldy queen. And it was showing me that in bringing Isla out, that I was worried about how her story and who she is does not fit in religious text. It doesn't fit with most of the organized religions on the planet. And that worried me in the beginning. I worried about offending people. I was being too respectful. And it's a dream. I'm sorry. It sounds disrespectful, the old moldy queen, but it sounds very disrespectful, but it's a dream. It was trying to make a point, to say, don't give respect to that is not your path. Your path is this, and you cannot give undue respect to something that has no reference to you. So anyways, so that would be, and it's a long answer, but that was a big question, Emilio.
Yeah. I feel like every year, every chapter of our lives calls us into getting out of that comfort zone. Like for example, just a few hours ago, we did you interviewed me for your community. Yes. And we did a private meditation. That was for me liberating, because obviously there's a contraction when you get called to do something different. Yeah. And then when you do it and you show up, and we've been talking a lot about this energy of showing up and devotion, then there's almost like an energy that is with you at all times that allows you to get out of that comfort zone in an easier way and flow. Yeah. And so the next question I had for you is, from the highest vantage point possible, how do you feel that this era will be remembered in the story of humanity?
Oh, that's so awesome. Like I feel it's going to be celebrated in the same way that we celebrate the birth of a child. I think it's going to be celebrated. Like this is a birthing. And I think it is in that way. I think it's always going to be looked back on as it's like think about, okay, I'm from the US and we have all these stories about we call them the founding fathers, and and that time period, and it becomes immortalized as like, wow, this is when it all began in the beginning. It's the beginning times become a big part of the story of a nation, or the story of whatever that entity or thing becomes. And we are that. We are the founding souls of this new reality. And so, I think I think that we'll be looking back on it in the future, and we won't say, wow, they were the best, smartest souls ever, but we will say that was the beginning. They were the pioneers, the revolutionaries. That was the birth. Yeah, pretty exciting.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, when we look back at those historic times, it's like we're in one right now. We just can't really see it because we're in it. Steve Jobs says you can only connect the dots looking back, not looking forward. Yeah. And so we won't even know in 10, 15 years down the line how significant the work that we did today really had on the future. So
totally agree.
I did want to ask this last question, and it's almost like a question back to you around what question would you like to leave for whoever is tuning in today that would allow them to contemplate more on their own inner freedom and the liberation of their soul?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, such a good question. I would say one of the questions that I have used in my own journey when I'm stuck with something, where I'm stuck in a belief system, when I'm stuck in something that feels like I'm not free, then I try to reverse engineer it and try to understand where is that coming from. And the question I ask myself is, what would I have to believe for this to be true? So if I'm stuck somewhere and I'm wondering what is in me that is resistant, if I can say, you know, why is it that this particular thing isn't going right, or I feel like I can't quite connect the dots on this or that, what would I have to believe for that to be true? And you can just keep asking that. And it's like as a journaling prompt, if you just sit with that, and then you can work at it in levels, you know, and go back. If you get to an answer, then ask yourself the question again, what would I have to believe for that to be true? And then keep going and see if you can get down to the core of what's underneath it all. But it's a really, I think questions are powerful, you know, really powerful tools for self-exploration. Yeah, and for unlocking us, right? For helping us get to our freedom.
Yeah. I once heard a friend say that it's not the answer that opens the mind, but the question.
Yes.
So I love to ask sometimes, like, what question would you like to leave behind? Because it leaves this openness, this spaciousness to contemplate. And so, Anne, it's been an honor, a pleasure. I know we've seen Anne has sort of like adopted me in the last few weeks because we've talked so much, and birthing something that important into reality has been a labor of a lot of love. And so I've really loved being a part of this with you, and I just can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. So thank you, Anne, for coming back on the show. And always the channelings are transformational, and I just wanted to honor you for always showing up and doing this work with me. And I can't wait to continue.
Thank you so much. No, it's phenomenal. Thank you so much for your incredibly perceptive and really insightful, the way you guide these conversations are just awesome, Emilio. So much gratitude.
Of course. Much love. Thank you.